Plenty of people are afraid of hospitals. If you become a nurse or doctor, you'll see lots of nervous patients and agitated family members. People who enter your wing or ward will twitch with anxiety and anticipation. Even healthcare professionals can feel the hair stand up on the back of their necks on a lonely night. Many nurses or doctors have found themselves working the night shift, their feet echoing through a hall lit only by the unnatural fluorescent light. Behind the doors of rooms, they can hear patients, some breathing quietly, others crying to themselves while in the throes of a nightmare. The machines and equipment fill the air with almost inhuman ambient noise just above the edge of hearing. Outside, the moon rises over the darkened land. Daylight is hours away. In the meantime, darkness reigns. Working in hospitals isn't for the faint-hearted. The things that go on in hospitals can be extremely creepy or downright terrifying. For people who believe in the paranormal, like ghosts, spirits, and other unexplainable encounters, most will agree that old hospitals are some of the most haunted places one can visit. In the decades or centuries since they've existed, hospitals have had a long time to accrete stories. The following are some true stories that medical professionals have experienced in their careers while working in a hospital.
I was a new doctor at our hospital and had only been working there a couple of months. I had brought a patient of mine up to day surgery from the ER for an endoscopy. They called me back down and asked me to bring her family up because she only spoke Italian and they needed someone to consent for the procedure. After dropping them off, I walked past the waiting room to head back down the hall to the elevators. I took a shortcut to get back to the ER and entered an abandoned section of the hospital where the hallways are all deserted. It used to be a pediatric wing of the hospital, but had been shut down for years and the rooms were just empty and full of broken equipment and beds. As I reached the old nurses' station at the T-junction between the pediatric hallway and the hallway that goes to the elevators, I saw a little girl standing across from the nurses' station further down the hall. She had big pigtails, was wearing a brown dress, white shoes, and holding a teddy bear. I thought perhaps she was a family member who had walked away from the day surgery waiting room. I was concerned that she would get into one of the rooms and get hurt or lost, so I called out to her, "Hey little girl, what are you doing? You don't need to be over there, you're going to get hurt." And I walked around the nursing station to go grab her hand and bring her back. As I got about 15 feet away from her, she vanished. Every hair on my body stood up straight, and I turned and ran like a bat out of hell down to the elevator. I pounded the button for what seemed like an eternity until the elevator arrived at my floor. As I got back to the ER, I walked up to the nurse's desk, white as a sheet. One of the older nurses looked at me and asked what was wrong, obviously seeing me in a panicked state. I remember babbling like an idiot as I tried to tell them what had happened. After listening to me for a moment or two, the elderly nurse said, "Oh, you saw the little girl ghost. She's been around here for years." Apparently the ghost has even been seen down in the ER, ducking in and out of patient rooms, and peeking around bed curtains. My wife worked up on the 7th floor, and she said that one time, on a night shift, a whole row of patients started yelling about a little girl that was running around in their rooms. I guess I'm not the only one to have experienced this little girl. I'm a nurse who is currently living and working in California. The weirdest thing happened to me one night when I was working a night shift. I had a patient whom I thought was playing with his IV, causing me non-stop headaches. I eventually confronted him after having to open the clamp for what seemed like the 100th time that night. He got really irate with me and said he had done no such thing, but blamed it on a young nurse in a white dress, who he said had fiddled with it repeatedly. I was confused because we wear uniforms, and they were not white at this specific hospital. Needless to say, I was really irritated. and I think we both ended the conversation feeling exasperated. I didn't think about his story about the young nurse for several weeks until one night I was dealing with a totally different room and a totally different patient. The call light rang, and when I went to answer it, the patient said he had a problem with one of my staff. Curious, I asked who. He said a young nurse in a white uniform would stand quietly in the doorway of the room's dark bathroom, staring at him. It was freaking him out. At this point, my hair stood on end, but I reassured him that he must have been dreaming. Either way, I checked the bathroom just to be sure. There was nothing there, of course, but I will never forget it.
Do any of you work in a hospital or have any creepy or strange experiences as a patient? Let me know in the comments below. And I'd like to thank the channel Night Terrors for featuring in this video. If you like their stories, then please consider checking out their channel. I've included a link in the description. See you next time.